Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I want to talk to you about some of the most common serger stitches and what you might use them for. So the first stitch I'd like to talk to you about is the 4-thread overlock stitch. It's a very common stitch, used very often. You can sew and finish the edges at the same time. And so you can create your seams and stitch things together. The serger works really efficiently on fabrics that are kind of slippery or plush and tend to move when you try to sew them. And so fabrics like this, you'll see in this blanket that I'm holding, stitch together really well and really efficiently with the 4-thread overlock. Okay, so you can see that this is got a lot of that snuggle cuddle fabric, really soft, really plush, and all of the seams were stitched with the 4-thread overlock. So it's great for fabrics like that, but you can use it in your garment sewing as well. I have a dress here that all of the seams were stitched and sewn with the serger. This also has some tiers, and it was gathered and sewn with the serger with that 4-thread overlock. And this fabric is one of those, again, that kind of likes to move on you, and the serger handles it with ease. All right, and one of my favorite fabrics to stitch on the serger is knits. So this is like a jersey knit, and we want to keep the stretch, right, with this type of fabric. And so I used a 4-thread overlock on all of the seam allowances. And so you still get that stretch. It looks really professional, it's very fast. The next stitch I'd like to talk to you about is the 3-thread. So the 3-thread is less bulky, it's stretchier, so you can get use out of that stitch with other projects. So let's take a look at the stitch. This is like a fleece-lined legging knit type fabric, so you still want that stretch, you want a less bulky seam there. And then you can also use it as your seam, so to sew it together, okay? And then it finishes it off really nicely for you. So a couple of projects I have here with the 3-thread overlock is like a leotard, you could do swimwear. So let's take a look at the stitch on the inside. So I'll show you on the gold fabric so you can see that red thread there, and you still get a really, really nice stretch there. Then you can also do some really fun things with the 3-thread. You can put a decorative thread. This is a 3-thread wide. You can put a decorative thread in the serger, and you get this really fun look on the outside. So we did all of our serger stitches on the outside and kind of showed it off with that decorative thread. Same thing with this skirt. We were able to pick up the silver that's in the fabric and utilize it on the hem of the skirt. Makes it look really fancy. Then I have this apron here that actually utilizes a lot of things from the serger, which is very fun. So we used a 4-thread on some things and a 3-thread on other things. But this here is piping. You can actually stitch piping into projects with the serger. We have another, this is a 3-thread narrow with a decorative thread. And if you'll look at the straps here, we have a rolled hem. And if you're familiar with sewing, oftentimes with straps, you'll sew them pretty sides together, you'll stitch around it, and then you'll turn it right side out. But what's really fun about this is you just put wrong sides together, stitch the edges, and your strap is done. And it's even sewn with a really fun thread on the serger. And the last stitch I wanted to talk to you about is a rolled hem. There's 2 different rolled hems on the serger, and you can do a lot of fun things with that as well. So here again is an example of decorative thread added to the serger, and there's a 3-thread stitch. So you get kind of a fun look along the hem there. And you can of course make napkins. So you can do cloth napkins, and you can do just a basic thread, or we have kind of a fun thread again along the edge of this napkin. Of course, I love using the rolled hem on ruffles because it's so fast, and usually ruffles you have like double or triple the length of fabric, right? So hemming it, you know, rolling it and hemming it on a sewing machine would take a really long time. So it's really nice when you have that with the serger because you have a lot of fabric to cover. But then also you can pick a fun thread that kind of coordinates with your fabric and helps that hem kind of stand out and give kind of a fun look there. Here is a swimsuit. So again, we used a serger thread on the inside, and because this is for a baby, we used a soft serger thread. And this is actually a 4-thread overlock. Still get that nice stretch in there, but we also used the soft thread on the ruffles back here. And you can see again, it's a coordinated thread, and so it just kind of stands out and makes that hem stand out really well. All right, so again, you can use that 3-thread. It's very versatile, the 3-thread rolled hem. You can use it on like chiffon, where you seam your garment so that the seam is really small and it kind of hides. You can hem it. So if you use the same color thread, we used white on this sample, on this stitch sample. So it stands out more, but it would hide really well if you use the same serger thread, and same with this satiny. And then you can also use it along the edge of a veil. So that is just a very quick smattering of projects that you can do with the serger. You can do so much more. It's so easy, so efficient, and very professional. I highly recommend them. For more tips and tricks, check out babylock.com.